Lock in, folks. We got a doozy of a week. In week 8, I'm betting on two teams to win and cover the spread that need to save their seasons. And we also got a player prop, a receiving yards total that we're taking the over on for a player that has not had a single catch all season. When I tell you to lock in, you got to lock in. Here are my three best bets for NFL Week 8 on Sunday. Welcome to the channel. My name is Peter Apple, and my goal is to give you the best free picks with as much analysis and as good of analysis as I can muster. And all I ask in return, all for free, all I ask, just like the video, hit that big red subscribe button, and of course, comment down below. What are your favorite picks for Sunday? What do you think about my picks? Feedback is always welcome, and we'll start some conversations in the comment section below. And without further ado, let's talk about our first game. We got the Ravens taking on the Chicago Bears. Lamar Jackson is back to salvage this horrible 1-5 start, taking on the Bears, who started the season 0-2, but have won four straight as head coach Ben Johnson, quarterback Caleb Williams start to become more in sync. Apparently, I'm not in sync yet. It's not often a 1-5 team is favored over a 4-2 team. Doesn't happen often, but when it does, you got to take notice. When a team has won less than 20% of their games, we're talking about the bottom feeders here, facing off against a team with a winning record, and that bad team is favored by 3.5 or more, the favorite is 30, 14, and 2 against the spread. It's a 68% hit rate in favor of teams like the Ravens. Now, Lamar Jackson's return obviously transforms the Ravens offense. Before his injury, ranked top 10 in EPA per dropback and was number 1 in both success rate and explosive play rate through the air. An elite combination of efficiency and big playability. You don't need to hear those numbers to know that Lamar Jackson is really good. His presence also, and I think this is very important, supercharges the run game. Lamar leads all quarterbacks in an explosive rush rate and is third in EPA per rush, forcing defenses to honor the zone read and opening wider lanes for Derrick Henry, who should benefit from these lighter box and a more horizontal stretch. Now, the Bears defense, pretty soft landing spot. Ideal re-entry point for Lamar Jackson. They sit bottom 10 in success rate and explosive play rate through the air, and a turnover heavy performance against New Orleans kind of inflates their 17th ranked EPA per dropback against the pass. Against a true dual threat quarterback, this secondary and linebacker group, they're just overmatched. On the ground, Chicago's 23rd in success rate allowed and 27th in explosive run rate allowed. Dangerous against one of the most explosive rushing quarterbacks and a power rushing threat like Derrick Henry. But really, this Bears defense, especially emphasis on soft landing spot, tough injury report. Two of their DBs, Kyler Gordon and Tyreek Stevenson, were announced out for this game. Their secondary already ranks 27th in success rate, and without those two, doesn't get much easier at home off a bye. The Ravens' defensive numbers stink across the board, though. There's no hiding that. The Bears should have some relative success, but I think that this Ravens offense is going to be too much for the Bears to keep up. And at least this Ravens defense is healthier than it's been in a while. Linebacker Roquan Smith returns after missing the last 2 weeks. Chidobe Awuzie returns at corner, and Kyle Hamilton's going to suit up as well. This Bears offense is also not healthy. They're missing tight end Cole Kmet, tackle Braxton Jones, and DeAndre Swift, the running back, is likely going to play, but I doubt he's 100%. And real talk, I'm just not sold on the Bears. Wins over the Cowboys in a bad spot for Dallas, the Raiders by a point, the Commanders by a point, and an easy home win against the Saints does not have me upgrading them much in my model. Slight upgrades, nothing crazy. With Lamar back, big step up in class here. And after 4 wins in a row, a banged up team, if the Ravens get a lead, they're going to push the pace. And I don't think Chicago is going to be able to keep up. If the Ravens win this game, talk about situational spots, talking about motivation, there is light at the end of the tunnel to still make the playoffs with how easy their schedule is in front of them. They got to have this one. And with a bye week to prepare, I'm going to trust them to get it done here. Non-conference road games, the one that the Bears are currently on, it's not the game you really have extra motivation for. You don't see these teams often. They don't account for anything when we're talking about tiebreakers when it comes to the playoffs. Betting on the Ravens to save their season. And I make the number -8. So give me Baltimore at anything less than a touchdown to win 1 unit. Before we get to the next two plays, a reminder that you can find all of my picks on BetMGM. Just remember to use code JustGridiron if you're new, because if your first pick loses, you get it all back in bonus bets up to 1,500. Don't just leave that offer on the table, folks. Remember, if you have yet to download BetMGM yet, you want to place any of these and it's your first one, whatever you wager on it, up to 1,500. If it loses, you get back in bonus bets. So we're going to end with another side, right? A spread, against the spread, all that good stuff. Let's start with the player prop. This player has not had a catch all season, which is a good headline to kind of draw you in. But the reality is he missed the first 4 games of the season or missed the first 5. Regardless, he returned last week and didn't have a catch. This is the week, though. This guy breaks out. You thinking what I'm thinking? I think Jaylen Coker of the Carolina Panthers is one of the more underrated receivers in the league. Big guy, 6'3", 42-inch vertical with solid speed. In 2024, he averaged 43.7 yards per game in the 11 games that he played in. Jaylen Coker returned from injury last week, just put his toes in the water, got his feet wet, running 16 routes, only drawing 2 targets. That's not great, but the usage should climb as he gets further removed from injury. Last season, he averaged 25 routes per game and held a strong 18.8% target share, demonstrating that he can handle a full workload when healthy. We should get that here. He's been reliable when targeted, converting 71.1% of his looks into catches. Kind of makes him this low volatility option for short to intermediate yardage props. The matchup also further boosts his outlook. Buffalo ranks 23rd in the NFL in yards per completion allowed at 11.6, and their zone heavy coverage often has been attacked underneath by these slot receivers. And that's what Coker does. He lines up in the slot in about 61% of his routes, positioning him to exploit those soft areas in the zone. With a modest total of just 20.5 yards and expected route volume recovery, Coker has multiple paths to clear this number, whether through those short area usage or single chunk play against a vulnerable Bills secondary. He's played in 4 games with the projected starter Andy Dalton. Last year, averaged 27 yards per game over those 4 games. So whether it's Dalton or Young, Coker should remind the NFL world that he is a solid young receiver in this game. Again, he went over this line in 8 of 11 games last year, but the market has clearly cratered on him due to only 1 game played and 0 catches in that one. Not this week, with a good matchup against Buffalo and a projected pass-heavy game script with the Panthers being 7-point underdogs. So I took Jaylen Coker over 20.5 receiving yards to win 1 unit, and this is playable up to 24.5. For my next pick, we're going to look at the 49ers traveling in to take on the Houston Texans. We have another one of these 5-2 teams as the underdog against a 2-4 team. We also have another non-conference road team facing off against a team at home in desperation for a win. These are the spots I like to side with. A team with their backs against the wall at home against a team coming off an easy win with an already great record. And if you look at the records, the fact that the Texans lost in embarrassing fashion to the Seahawks on Monday night probably has spoiled them in the minds of many. And if you look at it, the 49ers already beat the Seahawks, right? It should be easy, especially at plus money. But the Texans are favored for a reason, and I think they should be favored by even more. We can talk about how crappy this Texans offense is in a second, but one thing that we can all agree on, this Texans defense is fantastic, right? They enter with the number 1 defense in the NFL in both EPA per play and EPA per dropback, powered by elite blue chip talent at every level. Pass rush duo of Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. has been unstoppable, right? They rank first and second, both of them, in pass rush win rate per PFF, creating relentless pressure that collapses pockets before they can even develop. On the back end, you got Derek Stingley Jr., one of the premier cover corners in our game, while rookie Kamari Lassiter has solidified the opposite boundary spot, rounding out what has been one of the NFL's toughest secondaries to throw against. Now, the 49ers offense, it's been efficient, but they haven't faced a front as disruptive as this. Quarterback Mac Jones, he craters under pressure. That's why he's not a consistent starter in our league. He ranks 29th in EPA per dropback when defenders get home. With Houston's insane pressure rate and opportunistic secondary, turnovers and stalled drives are legitimate risks for the 49ers in this one. Mac Jones is still without Ricky Pearsall, And even himself, Mac Jones, has been dealing with a knee and an oblique injury this week in practice and just over the last couple of weeks. After getting embarrassed by the Seahawks, season's on the line here. I expect the Texans defense to play with their hair on fire. Now let's talk about the Texans offense because that's the point of contention. And I understand they have stunk out loud. They can't protect CJ Stroud, they can't sustain drives. It's been bad. But in this matchup at home against this banged up 49ers team, I think they can have some success, at least get into the low 20s, which I think will be enough for a win here. San Francisco's pass rush has been a disappointment this season, generating pressure primarily from designated rusher Bryce Huff, who was already announced out for this game. This continues just a long line of injuries for the 49ers as Nick Bosa and Fred Warner are already out, and DB Demidor Lenore hasn't practiced this week. This is a spot to buy Stroud and really buy some more time, right? To find rhythm, reestablish the timing that defined his breakout rookie year. I'm not expecting a ton. But one thing that's also working in the Texans' favor is that both teams, they share roots in the Shanahan style offensive system, meaning each coaching staff kind of knows each other's concepts. Expect D'Amico Ryans, the head coach and offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, to build off that familiarity with targeted counters and quick hitting concepts to neutralize San Francisco's defensive strengths. Beyond the on-field matchups, desperation spot. And I keep coming back to it, sitting 2-4 after an embarrassing Monday Night Football loss. Texans are fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive. Meanwhile, San Francisco, comfy, 5-2, coming off a nice win on prime time over Atlanta. Flat spot on the road. Desperation, focus, better defense, more motivated roster, home field advantage. Houston is built to grind out wins like this in this spot. I make the Texans about -3. So at -1.5, very comfortable taking the Texans to win and cover to win 1 unit. So hopefully you enjoyed these breakdowns of my 3 best bets for Sunday. Got to go on a hot streak soon. It's not been a great NFL season for me. Skipped Thursday Night Football, didn't like anything. I actually leaned towards the Vikings, and the over, which hit, so would have gone 1-1. So nothing lost there. But let's win on Sunday. Let's do it. Why not us? The only thing we got to remember is, first of all, like the video and comment and subscribe, but not gambling advice.